You are my star. No lie. This is for you. Actually, it's for me. But let's say it's for you. I'll toast you to my star, which you are. My happy hour starts around 5, 5:12. But I wanted to I think this is number 26. You are my star. I want to be positive. This is an attempt to be positive, like a lot of people that inspire me in the past and presently. It's so lonely sometimes. So lonely sometimes. It's just kind of a lonely world. We build it that way. We chase money. We're more about me than the community. And that's a problem. And that's why we have billionaires and ghettos. Because after a while, the greed feeds upon itself, and with the lawyers and lobbyists, and even a Supreme Court that makes it easier for billionaires to buy elections, uh, this idea of a free market is a fallacy. It's a fraud. There is no free market. It's fake. Decisions are made by very wealthy and powerful people, and they help very wealthy and powerful people more than the poor and the working people who have nobody really in the room that are making decisions. That's just the facts. I'm trying to be positive, but real. We're all beautiful. We're all gifts of the sky, gifts of grace. There's 8 billion of us. I think we need to be real about population control. And overpopulation is just one of the biggest problems in the world today. And one that the birth rate is going down, and that's good. But just more of a focus on that, and helping people that don't have kids and maybe feel lonely, or have one kid and maybe the kid feels lonely. So, but 8 billion is really taxing the resources of this planet, and hurting it, and just one of the challenges we have. But we can do it if we're focused on the good and the right and each other, and having a good life, but a humble life. Not a whole bunch of gold and silver and mansions. And, I mean, if that's the goal, then it's a problem. So let's stay positive right now. Yeah, I like this, but I think I said before, I like this. In Morocco, I saw this a number of times. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. I was on my bike today. Again, I'm 65. I'm retired. On my own. I didn't see anybody today. I didn't see a friend today. I don't think I talked to a friend today or a family member. One thing that helps me, and I suggest getting out into the public. Whether for me it would be the library. We have a great library. I get on the trail today for, oh my goodness, it was such a nice day. 25 miles, about 5 to Lake Fayette, 5 around Lake Fayette, and 5 back. Actually, a little more than all that, but closer to 20, I guess. You know how everybody exaggerates. Me too. So, but it was a really nice ride, and I got to talk to human beings. Some were friendly, some not so much, but many people are friendly. And you can joke with or just say hello to. How you doing? Man, it's a nice day. It's not so hot. So, or if a families going by, and the youngest kid's on a little bike and go, man, I like that bike, you know. And like this one kid, it looked like maybe a black child with a white older lady. And the kid said, does that mean no mommy? There's no mommy? She goes, that's right. It's just me and you. And he had a bike, and I just said, nice bike. And then the lady goes, tell him, thank you, Elliot. And he goes, thank you. I said, take it easy, Elliot. And then the lady said, thank you. So I don't know what they're going through. Just connecting is important, isn't it? Just saying hello, just being a human being with another human being. And not in an angry, like you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, Oh my gosh, how much hatred is there today? Unbelievable. So this book that I'm about to start taking some, I've looked at this before, but start taking some ideas out of to put on my paintings, just good positive ideas that a lot of religions have, but we don't follow. We don't follow all these good ideas. We get lost in greed and selfish desires. We talk a good game about religion, but I don't see it. I don't see the love, which is the foundation of so many religions. I mean, if you look at them, it's caring about each other and letting go of this greed. So, yeah, I'm not religious. I haven't seen. Why would I want to follow one direction when there's 8 billion of us? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this for 8 billion and not divide us up into this sect, this tribe, this nation, this religion, I don't think that's what. If there's a God, God doesn't want that. The Creator doesn't want that. The Creator created everything. Everything is one. It came from one. And in a way, we're still one. So we should act like it. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to people I don't even know. And I say, you're my star, because you are my star. Because you're a point of grace. You're a gift of the gods. I know you are. I don't even know you, but I know that about you. So, I guess the point I wanted to make today, it can be lonely. It can be lonely, even if you're in a relationship. If it's not a good relationship, or if somebody's stressed out, life is hard no matter what. But loneliness is a tough part of it. I'm sure living in poverty in a ghetto is terrible because of the noise and the inferior housing you're having to live in, and the violence and hopelessness and desperation. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry that we've created the ghetto and continue to accept it and accept tax cuts for the rich and nothing for the ghetto. The rich are getting richer, and that's on our backs. Trump and the Republicans, as soon as he got into office, cut taxes on the rich and corporations, which didn't make jobs as much as have stock buybacks, which helped the largest stakeholders, the people that just got tax breaks because they were rich. So that's why I'm a Democrat. Republicans have been cutting taxes on the rich for so long. It's one of the real crimes against humanity, against equality. We're all equal. You're my equal. Nobody's better than you. Nobody's worse than you. We're all holy, all sacred. So, I guess what I wanted to promote is just have a lot of things to do, hobbies, um, hobbies that are fulfilling, that you enjoy. I think writing is a great hobby. Journaling, I guess a lot of people like journaling. Hell, some of my writing is basically journaling. I've written 2 books, and a big portion of that is just journaling, just writing down what you're feeling. And what do they say? If it's in you, it's got to come out in some ways. So here is, this is called bad, negative. I don't know how many, I'll read a little bit. Athletes were doping, honor was choking. I was watching some of the Lance Armstrong, and not just him, but a lot of these guys that were doing blood transfusions and taking EPO and doing a whole bunch of illegal stuff, the Tour de France, for years and years. Just sickening, sad. Antarctica, 70 degrees above normal, hottest day ever, hottest year ever. So, anyway, maybe one thing you need to do, like me, is get the bad stuff out of your system. Express it. I've thrown away at least 200 pages of this because I don't want to focus on this. But I want to get it out, I guess. I guess I do, because that's what I do. Get it out of my system. But this is what I want to promote, the good, the positive. That's what I want to promote. And on my paintings, that's the only thing that's on there. The earth is the challenge of democracy. We the people is we. Don't tell me. You're not political. That's the problem. There it is. Oh, here it is. Where is, there it is. Ecstasy, affections, existence, transcendence, feeling togetherness, not self-interest. Invisible behind the scenes, it blew the void to smithereens. The light created our souls and genes, and happy gods were full of beans. With grace and love, by all means, I am an arrow on the straight and narrow, from the master's quiver, to be cared for and caregiver. From the master's bow, to be straight and true, and go, 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 fly through the sky. God said, I give you a heart and a soul, a body and mind, feelings and wonder, love and joy, and a sex drive, to know you're alive. Gods get emotional. So that's, sometimes it becomes a song, sometimes I'll play music and just read. I guess if you want to call that a poem, you can. And sometimes I use that on my paintings, which I'll kind of show. So I write those down. That helps me. Write songs. I don't know how to read music, but this is my formulas, or this is my, I don't know, it's not a formula. But what I've done is I've written, taken notes, a lot of ideas about the colonial history, the Revolutionary Era, Declaration of Independence, and when they're meeting, all the meetings around that, and then the Constitution. And I really want to try to write a musical about that era, 1700 to 1800, something like that. I've reached out to 3 professors. 2 of them didn't reply, and 1 said it's not my field. Okay, I'm not going to give up. This is what I should do. I need to do this. It's a real challenge. I said that to somebody, and he goes, what did he say? something about, it's good to have a challenge. It's good to, take on some things that are really difficult. This is really difficult. I haven't seen Hamilton. I've seen a little bit. I like the guy that wrote it a lot. Hamilton was kind of an asshole. He was very smart, but not a very nice guy. He died in a duel, but he'd had 11 duels before then, I believe, because he would say negative, nasty things about somebody. And then the other person, a lot of times it's in the paper or pamphlets. And the other guy would say, "Hey, man, you disrespected me. I challenge you to a duel." And then I think a lot of times they would apologize. And they would have to apologize in the paper or a pamphlet because that's where it had been already in the public sphere. So, but from liberation to legislation, from liberating us from the oppressive British crown, good, create a democracy. Liberation, legislation. You need to create a government. Everybody's united about getting away from Britain, or at least most people were. I've read before it was a third yes, a third no, and a third didn't care. I don't think it was that much. Now I'm reading more like, probably 40 to 50% wanted to leave, and then probably 25% didn't really care, and 25% wanted to stay. Something like that. But the united, let's break away. We need independence. Okay, now we're independent. What kind of government do you have? How do you run your government? And that continues today. It continues today. We're going to have an election in November. And who's going to vote? Who's not going to vote? What kind of information are we getting? There's a bunch of lies and bullshit and propaganda we get. And some of it comes from other countries, Russia, Iran, China, who like to mess with us because they would say, well, you mess with us. And if we can destabilize you having, these destabilizing policies toward us, you'll look worse and we'll look better. But it's not just that, too. There's lies inside of America. And some of the right-wing media, I think, are the worst, funded by billionaires who, again, are happy with how much money, power, income, and property they have. So they don't want a lot of change. I mean, the bad ones. There's some really good billionaires that want to help and understand that concentrated wealth is anti-democratic. But it's really up to the people. And this idea that somehow January 6th, when they tried to take over the results of the election and beat up the police and broke into the Capitol, that was a riot. That was traitors breaking into the Capitol of the United States. It's madness. How can you say anything besides that? I just got the Dhammapada, so read positive stuff. I just talked to a friend about that yesterday, about how I was kind of down, sad, and just reading some of this spiritual stuff. Okay, this is the Dhammapada, Eknath Easwaran. I like him. He died. He's from India. His favorite book is the Bhagavad Gita, Hindu. But this is the Buddha. What do we got? If you meditate earnestly, pure in mind and kind in deeds, leading a disciplined life in harmony with the Dharma, you will grow in glory. I just opened to that. Now, I don't like to meditate. I'm not going to meditate. But you can meditate while you're riding your bike. It's just freeing your mind, opening your mind, getting quiet, quieting the chatter, as they say. An easy way to do that is, the breath awareness. just you're thinking of. So you're kind of focused on your breathing. Well, that's an empty thought, really. So that helps quiet your mind. But read beautiful things. Uh, Here we go. Ready? Innocence. Oh, it's wonderful. I don't do this that often, actually. Once a month, maybe. It's the I Ching. And I think you can throw stuff, and I don't get into all that. But it has some really nice teachings. Innocence. So I'm glad I picked this one. But it's kind of like the horoscope, where I think it basically says, most of the time, common sense. Beautiful common sense. The time demands an alignment with the flow of the cosmos. Always, always. This adjustment must be made before further action is taken, otherwise, you will begin to make mistakes. When actions that seem perfectly reasonable and cleverly planned are executed, they will end in difficulty and confusion. In order to harmonize your actions with the cosmos, it will be necessary to adopt an attitude of innocence. Always. Examine your motives. They will be the cause of your problems. This is a time for acting without conscious purpose, without ulterior motive, and with complete rectitude. Do not aspire to be rewarded for your actions, nor direct them cunningly toward personal advancement. Act innocently and react spontaneously. Yeah, man, I love that. I love that. Innocence. Right on, baby. Now, I don't know where it is. One of my very favorite books is called the Tao Te Ching. I like the Jane English version because it has a big book like this with some nice black and white photographs. At the beginning of the Tao Te Ching says something like, the divine Tao cannot be put into words. Like, the divinity of the Supreme is beyond words. But here we go anyway. I guess we'll make the best try at talking about the divine and the supreme. Here we are, little baby people on a little baby planet in the middle of infinity. And we're talking about the divine. I like that. Not collecting precious things prevents stealing. That's one of the things in the Tao Te Ching. Not collecting precious things prevents stealing. But if you're like this, somebody that doesn't have that, hey, look what he's got. But, personal wealth is emptiness. Loving your neighbor is fullness. Create your own stuff. I do these ideas a lot. Why can't you see this one? Why is it so bright? Oh, there you go. That's a little better. How about this? No, this one. Oh, that's better. So I write down ideas, and it eventually becomes a song, maybe, or a poem. Free your personality. Don't be afraid of life. This is why you were made. All the mistakes in sacred light, don't be afraid. This is why you were made. Don't be afraid. Gods create and citizens participate. Sacred Heart, work of art. So what are they called? Stencils? I forget. Like this stuff? Which I haven't done in the past, but I'm enjoying it. Like this isn't a stencil. This is just, my dopey stuff. But at the bottom it says, angels, home in the sky, yay, you and I. Or this isn't a stencil. Sorry if that looks like an unhappy lion. I mean, I'm not through with this, but I think the main thing is my words. Invisible behind the scenes, it blew the void to smithereens. Yeah, that's the thing that I wrote the other time. But I will take some of these ideas and glue it to the piece of paper, like let me see. God shivered and as love was delivered, excited, delighted. When what they invited united, the world is a dream from cosmic command. We cannot understand how holy we are in Holy Land. I like that. So this is kind of funny. What did I write down last night in bed? If I have ideas, I really would like to write them down, whether I use them or not. So on the computer, I forgot what time it was, but I wrote down paint teddy bears. So crazy. I'm 65. Paint teddy bears. So here's and it kind of became this. I need to do the eyes and nose and put some poetry. And what I've done is use a lot of the poetry from religious texts, and I'll use the Dhammapada. There's a lot in the Dhammapada. Use some from the Tao Te Ching. It doesn't have to be my words. It just has to be good words and positive words. I don't want negative words in any of this up on somebody's wall they see every day. It's negative. Not, there's a lot of bad things in the world. I know that. And that's why I need positive reinforcement. And I think everybody else does too. So I think that's a good try for me. Oh, here we go. So, yes, it can be lonely. So get out some. Hopefully you have some friends or family that you feel close to and you can see regularly or semi-regularly. And you have to work harder at that than we should, because of how broken apart we are and how everybody has their own space, and there's suburbs, and everybody moves away, and so it's hard to stay close. When I talk to somebody that's my age, 65, and they live a mile from their kids and grandkids, it's always nice. It's always a nice thing. So maybe we can create better communities. I saw this lady, I think she was about 65. She moved to France. And partly she said, I want the last years of my life to be good. And, they weren't good in America. And I was lonely and nothing was, positive. And so she moved to France and she was much happier. I was so glad she did this, her video in France. But I like the idea. I've been in Paris before. I like the idea of waking up and walking to get a croissant and coffee, and walking to the farmer's market, and walking to the subway or the bus. I walked a lot in Seattle. They have a very good bus system. I don't want a car. I haven't had a car in 9.5 years, and I don't want a car anymore. And I need to live somewhere that's easier to get around than my hometown of Fayetteville, Arkansas. So I'll see what happens, but that's what I kind of want. Even though I think this town has a lot going for it, it's being corrupted by money, like a lot of towns, but it's got a lot of good people and people I've known for 60 years, 50 years. So I'll miss that. yeah, everybody's on their phones, or a lot of people are on their phones and not communicating and isolating. Although they'll say, well, I'm not isolating. I'm on Facebook. I'm talking to 200. I remember a kid of mine, a student, saying, "Mr. Trumbo, I have 400 friends." I said, "Nobody has 400 friends. That's that's not a friend. A friend is somebody you talk to and do something with, face to face." So it's somewhat isolating, even if you think you're connecting to people all around the world. But then you turn off your machine and you're all alone. So I hope we get back to nature and back to humanity next to each other and cultivate that because we're really beautiful. So I wrote down a couple of things. This is my happy hour, and I will watch uh, something that makes me happy. The Tour de France 2022 highlights. There's two guys, Tadej Pogacar, probably the best bicyclist in the world from Slovakia. He's about 24, 25. He's probably about 5'7", 165 pounds. And Jonas Vingegaard from the Netherlands, I think. I think he's like 27, and he's probably 150 pounds. But they have teammates, and I don't understand. You go behind the teammates, and they break the wind in front of you, so it saves 25% energy. And then they do other things, bringing water and food, and there's all sorts of tactics, many that I don't understand, but it's very real beautiful. Just seeing the countryside of France. France is a beautiful country. It may start in Spain, which is beautiful. Go to Switzerland, Netherlands, Denmark. These are all beautiful countries. The earth is beautiful. We've been given a beautiful home. We should really enjoy it and protect it. But anyway, I enjoy watching that because it's inspiring. And I ride my bike every day. So that's probably part of it. But what's so funny is Tadej Pogacar won 2 years in a row. Jonas Vingegaard was second. Then Jonas Vingegaard won 2 years in a row. And Tadej Pogacar was second. And what happened this year? Tadej Pogacar won. Jonas Vingegaard was second. Now, yeah, it has a lot to do with the teams, but I guess you need to be kind of light to maybe for the not so much for the sprints, but for the mountains. I don't know. You can tell I don't know. But have some positive hobbies, have some positive things that make you happy, that you enjoy. I also have, the internet is full of life and full of so many things to learn from and enjoy. The Great American Recipe, that's on PBS. I joined PBS partly because I love what they do, but also because I want to watch that. It's a cooking show, but it's pretty positive, Master Chef. I like Master Chef, but the ones where he gets really mean and I don't need to see that. But I do like that. I like this guy, Rick Beato, like Beat O. Rick Beato, probably the number one interviewer of musicians on YouTube today. He's so good. He's so good. He's played in bands. He taught music at Ithaca Community College. My son went to Cornell, so I've been to Ithaca. So that's one thing I have in common with him, I guess. It's a beautiful area. Finger Lakes area of New York. I guess that's the Adirondacks, around the Adirondacks, just so pretty. Um, uh, but oh, he interviewed all three people in the Police: uh, Sting, Andy Summers, and the drummer. Oh, I'm spacing on his name. He's a fantastic drummer. But different times interviewed all three of them, and those are all really good. Uh, and yeah, they had some fights. Yeah, but oh, Stuart Copeland. Stuart Copeland. I've seen them. I saw them live in Kansas City, I think. So good. A three piece. Wow. And, I've told people the one instrument that really just was unbelievable in a way to me was Sting's voice. They were unbelievable as a band, but his voice was just a true knockout. And anyway, all three of them give praise. So, so I have these things to watch: uh, Tour de France, Great American Recipe, Rick Beato. He interviews so many people. Um, so that's not just a one-off. All three of those are like a series. And also, I've been getting into this guy. His name's Glenn Gould, a really brilliant guy. He was a pianist. The one I'm watching now is part one and two. I'm on part two on Schoenberg, a pianist that he really liked, and he said changed the dynamics, I guess, of classical music. And I'm not a big classical fan, but like Rick Beato, he's very smart about his subject matter, and he really loves it. Those two things that will sell. But Glenn Gould, I like the way that well, he's so smart. He explains things, even if I don't understand, I can understand a little bit about what he's talking about. And it's interesting to hear a guy talk about Bach or Beethoven or Mozart and why he likes them or doesn't like them, or man, their early stuff was fantastic, but at the end they're just repeating. It's so derivative of what they'd already done. Uh, or repetition. He talks about the repetition of some classical writers that may be good and some that are boring. And he also would say, I believe, that I'm a classical pianist and I'm going to play Bach and I'm going to bring my personality in there. I'm not going to be a monkey and just play what everybody else plays Bach. I'm going to bring me. It's a collaboration. And a lot of classical people say, man, that's not. I don't hear Bach. All I hear is you. But I kind of like that idea. Uh, I think it would be boring to hear the same thing over and over again in the same way. So I don't know enough about it, but I like the guy. He's really interesting. It's sad he got more and more. It's not schizophrenic, where he needed different things and wore gloves and I believe had some ailments. Was it Thorazine? Anyway, he was taking some heavy drugs, man. He was taking some heavy drugs, and it was messing him up. And a lot of times it's alcohol for musicians or artists, but and he died at 50. He died pretty young, which is sad. And toward the end, a lot of times toward the end, it's really sad. So I mean, he was dying in his 40s. Uh, but luckily, there's a lot of interviews, and he'll even explain to you, okay, now Mozart or Beethoven in the beginning, he would do this, and that's kind of inventive and creative and interesting. But toward the end, he would do this, and to me, that's derivative and repetitive, and so I just find him fascinating, and like a teacher that's much smarter than you are. about the subject, but it's still interesting. So hopefully you can find some things that you're really interested in or learning, and they're out there. And stuff, hobbies where you create things, but also hobbies where you just relax and listen to somebody else, and hopefully have a good life. And loneliness is part of our lives. It is. And we can build better communities where it's not as wide and deep as it is today. We can do that. We can do anything. My brothers and sisters, love you.